Hello everyone. Again, I welcome you all to the e-learning of IT for the 12th standard. In last two lectures, we have already discussed about what is HTML, what is HTML5, and what are the different advanced input elements that are used with the HTML5 language. We have also written a program to see how those all elements work in a form. Okay, so today we are going to start with a new topic, that is input restrictions. Actually, in this topic, there is a list of different attributes which are used for a validation purpose. What is validation? Validation is nothing but whenever a user is entering a data, that there are more chances of entering the incorrect data. So in that case, our program should guide the user so that user can fill the data correct only, and then the validated data will be transferred to the server. So let us see what attributes are used for input restriction purpose, that is validation purpose. So first one is disabled. What is disabled? Disabled specifies that input field should be disabled. That means that field is not will that field will not be filled by the user. Okay, that is disabled for the user. Next one is max. Max specifies the maximum value for the input field. This is specifically used whenever we are taking the numerical form of data. Suppose you want a certain value for a text field that rise between a 10 to 20, then you can specify a max value for that as a 20, and the next attribute is mean. So mean value you can specify as a 10, so that user will enter the value between 10 and 20 only. Okay, so in this way you can restrict the user input. Next attribute is pattern. So pattern attribute we have already used while writing a program to see how advanced input element work. So in that case, for input type is equal to tell, that is to take a phone number, we have specified a regular expression which takes the input from a user in a certain format. So that format of input can be specified with the help of pattern. Next attribute is read only. Read only means what? It specifies that an input field is read only. It cannot be changed. It is visible to the user, but user cannot change value within it. That value is read only. User cannot make change into it. Next attribute is placeholder. Placeholder acts as a temporary label that showing the purpose of a text field without requiring a label. That means whenever we create a form, traditionally we give a label and then a input field, so that the user will come to know which kind of data is to be entered into that field. But instead of having that label, you can specify a small text within that text field itself, so that user will come to know what input is to be provided. So that is the use of placeholder. That is nothing but a kind of hint to the user, so that user can enter a data into that field. Next attribute is required. Required means what? That this specifies that an input field is required. That is, it must be filled out. So if you do not enter a value within that text field, the form will not be submitted to the server. So that field is a required field. It must be filled out. Traditionally, in many sites, for the required fields, there always mentions there a star, so that that field is a required field. Okay, so you can give such a facility by required attribute. Next is a autocomplete. So what is autocomplete? Autocomplete specifies whether a form or input field should have a autocomplete on or off. That is, you can specify autocomplete attribute for the form as well as for a input field. So within any field, if you write a autocomplete on, then whenever you are entering a data into it, it will give you a suggestions while entering a data. Again, the same for the form, you can specify autocomplete on for the whole form as well, so that while entering the data, user will be provided with the suggestions. Okay. Next one is autofocus. Autofocus specifies that the input field should automatically get focused when the page loads. Okay, when the form is loaded, that time if you want a certain field to get focus first, to be entered first, then you can specify autofocus for that field. Next one is height and width. So you can specify this attribute for the input type is equal to image. So we have seen how to create a button by using input type is equal to image. It creates a image button. So you can specify the height and width for that button by using this attribute. Next is multiple. Multiple specifies that the user is allowed to enter more than one value in an input element. This works with the input types like email and file. That means you are allowed to enter more than one values into that field, but it works with the email and file controls. So for email, you can give a more than one email in a one field by specifying a comma between two emails. And for a file, you can select more than one files and you can upload it. Okay, so in this way you can use a multiple attribute. So we have seen all the attributes that are used for a validation purpose, that are used for a input restrictions. So let us see how those all attributes actually work in a program. So for that purpose we will write one program. So see, here is a form and here are different labels and the text field used. So we will write a program to get such an output. Here is a branch number, name, email, date of inception, office time, number of years completed, office number, add your home page. Here is the option to choose a file and this is the submit button. Okay, so to get a submit button, you have to download the image for submit button of any extension like JPG, PNG and save it into a certain location. We will use that link in a program. So let us start to write a program to get such an output. So first open the notepad, then to specify that this document is a HTML document, we will give a doc type as a HTML. Okay, doc type is HTML. Next, we will start with the program HTML, then end of HTML. Then you can specify a head tag, head, then end of head. Within the head tag you can specify a title and end of title. What is use of this title tag? You can give a title to your page. See here is a title given in a tag, that is forms in HTML5. So you can give such a title here, forms in HTML5. Now close the head tag. We will open a body tag. Within a body tag we are going to create a form. So end the body tag and then open form tag, form and end of form. So within the form tag, now we are going to actually start writing a program to have such output. So see here, first field is a branch number. So write here branch number. Next, you can see here it is a text box. It is a text box. So for creating a text box, the tag used is input type is equal to text. Input type is equal to text. You can see here all rest of the all fields are empty. Okay, but this field is filled with a certain value as a B002224. Suppose this is a form for employees, then branch number will be same for all employees. So user is not required to enter value into it. It is a default value. So you can specify that value within this program itself and user will not be allowed to enter the value into it, so that you can make this field as a read only for the all other users. So specify the value is equal to, here value is B002224, B002224. Okay. Now this field should be a read only field. Why? Because user will not be allowed to enter a value into it. So read only. Okay. Now we will save the program, give a meaningful name to the program. So select your path and then give the name to the program. So input restrictions dot html and save the program. Now you can see the output for this first field. Okay. So first E drive. Input restrictions. Here open with Microsoft Edge. You can see the text label branch number, and in front of that a text field has been created and you cannot change value within it. Okay. So that is a read only. Next we will again come back to a program. Next field is a name. Okay. So for a name we can give a label as a name. Then specify input type is equal to text again. You can use autocomplete for this field as well. So autocomplete. So by specifying this field as a autocomplete, user will be provided with a suggestions for this field. BR tag is used to have a line break. So you can use a set of BR tags as well to have some extra space. So input type is equal to text and autocomplete. You can give a name for this field. So name is equal to suppose first name, and so we will give as a F name. So autocomplete is on for this name field. So let us see how it works in a program. So here is a program. You can refresh it by clicking here or press F5. Then this value is not editable by a user, it is read only. And here user is provided with a links. Suppose I enter a value as a Aditi. Okay. Here you have to use a submit button so that your form data will get submitted, and then the program will come to know about which values are to be provided for a suggestion purpose. So first here we will use a input type is equal to image. Then we have to specify a path of that image. So I have downloaded a image within this, that is a submit. So I will give a path of this, Control C, and here paste by Control V, then slash and give the name of button, that is submit, and then extension, that is PNG. Okay. So in this way a submit button will be created over there. Now you can run the program again to see the output. So open with Microsoft Edge. Here you can enter the name as Aditi and submit it. Now you can see here Aditi is available in suggestions itself. Okay, so in this way user will be provided by a suggestions when the autocomplete is on for that particular field. Okay, suppose I enter some another value, I will submit it, and again that new value will be available for a suggestion. So next field is a email field. So for a email we specify the type as a email. Okay, so email we have seen in advanced input elements. So input type is equal to email. Input type is equal to email. You can specify a name as a en. Again you can use a set of br tags. br br. Okay. Now here refresh the page and see the next text field has been appeared here. So here for Aditi we will give a email ID as aditi@gmail.com. Okay, and submit it. Now here we will get a suggestion for that field. Next field is the date of inception. So here date of inception. Here you can specify a input type as a date. So input type is equal to date, name is equal to, so inception date, that means nothing but a starting date, that is you can specify as a j date. Okay, again we will use a set of br tag to have a space. Date of inception. Next, office time. So we will specify office time field, and for that we will use input type is equal to time, so that you can enter a time into it. Here also you can specify a name as office time. Okay, okay. Again use a set of br tags. Next one is the number of years completed between 1 and 100. Number of years completed between 1 and 100. So specify here as number of years completed between 1 and 100. So you can specify this in a bracket. Number of years completed between 1 and 100. Here you have to specify a numbers, or user should enter a value between 1 and 100. So you can use input type is equal to number, because input type is equal to number because the required value is in a numerical form, and for that max value should be 100 and minimum value should be 1. So max is 100, min is 1. Next, use a set of BR tags. Okay. So number of years completed. Let us see the output until this. So refresh the page by pressing F5 or click here. Next, here you can specify a name, then you can specify email ID. You can give a date of inception from here. Okay. Office time. Number of years completed between 1 and 100. So here you are actually required to enter value between 1 and 100. So you can enter 55, 5, 20, etc. But if suppose you enter 115, then this value is actually not allowed. So for that you will get an error message that value must be less than or equal to 1 or 100. So if you write 0, then also you will get a error message. So suppose I write here 10, then your value will get accepted. Okay. So now let us complete the program. Office phone number. So for office phone number, we will use input type is equal to tel. That is a telephone number. Office telephone number. So here you can use input type is equal to tel, and for that you have to specify a pattern, that how that telephone number should be. So pattern is equal to, now here you have to specify a numbers. So first numbers will be from 0 to 9. How many numbers will be at the start? So you can specify here, see here in a form. Here there are two numbers, then after that dash, and after that 10 digits are there. So first two digits can be any number between 0 to 9. So specify like this, 0 to 9. Then how many numbers will be there at the start? 2. So specify 2 in a curly bracket. Then there will be a separation as a horizontal line dash. Then again there will be a set of numbers from 0 to 9. And how many numbers will be there? That is 10 numbers. So you can specify a pattern like this. Okay, so this is a pattern for a number. Next, here you can see that here is a hint to enter a number. So in the same hint can be provided in our program by using attribute. Which attribute? Yes, it is a placeholder. So first we will see how the output appears until now. So see here, you have to enter a phone number in a correct way, in a specified regular expression. Suppose you enter a number like this and try to submit it, then it will not match the requested format. So format that we have provided is, first provide any two numbers, then after that dash, and then after that 10 digits are allowed. So okay. Again save the program, refresh it, and then first two numbers, that any two numbers can be there, then 10 numbers, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So your phone number will get accepted. Okay, see here a single quote that were present over here, and because of that, that single quote was also in a expression. Okay, so you have to write a program very carefully so that no any error should be there. If you write any wrong number, it will reject the input. So to guide the user that how the input should be provided, so you can specify here within a phone number placeholder attribute. Placeholder will allow you to give a hint to the user. So you can give a hint of our format. So 20 1 2 3 4 5 6 10 digits after the dash. So this is the format of entering a telephone number. So see here, you can get a field with a hint within it, that is by a placeholder. Okay, so after that the next one is add your home page. So to add our home page, we will use the field that is URL. Add your home page. Here user is required to enter a URL, and to get the URL only you have to specify input type is equal to URL, so that user will enter a value within it. You can specify a name to this as a link, etc. Again use a set of BR tags. Save the program and see the output by refreshing the page. Here you can provide a link. Suppose http://www.google.co.in. So that link will be accepted. If you enter wrong data, that will be rejected. Okay, so only the link will be accepted by the user, by the program. Next field is, the last field is choose the files. Okay, so to choose the file to upload, we have to use the control that is input type is equal to file. Input type is equal to file. So here give a label as choose your file. Choose your file. Input type is equal to file. Again here use a set of BR tags, so that button will be at the next line. So you can see the output now. The form has been completed. Now here the first field is read only. Instead of using read only, you can use a which one? Yes, disable as well. So see here what is difference between read only and disable. So if I will make here as a disable, save the program and run it. Again the value will be here, but this field is disabled. Okay, again same user will not be allowed to enter data into it, but this field is not a enable, it is a disabled. So instead of using disable, you can use read only as well. So I will prefer to use as a read only. Okay, next let us see the output. Here for a name we have used autocomplete. Now see here, this field is not available for the user to enter a data into it, right? So you can give a focus to the name field automatically when the form will be get loaded. Now see, when the form is loaded, the control is not given to any of the control by default. Okay, so you can give a control by default to the name field, because this field is not to be written by or filled by a user. Okay, so here within a name field I can specify here as a autofocus, so that field will get automatically focused, that is first to be filled whenever the form is loaded. Suppose I enter as a Anagha, then Anagha @gmail.com, then here select the date, select the time, then here specify the number of years completed, give the appropriate phone number, then here you can specify a link. Now here from this button you can choose a file. Okay, suppose I have selected this image to be uploaded, then this will be appeared here and you can submit the data. Now we have seen all the attributes that use as a input restrictions. Only one attribute has been left, and that is a multiple. We have already discussed that the multiple attribute is used with the email and file control. So let us see how we can use it. So for email you can specify here as a multiple, so that you can enter more than one email into it. You can select more than one email into it by specifying a comma in between the two emails. Then for a file also you can specify here multiple, so that you can select more than one files. Okay, so here I have specified a multiple attribute. Now we will run the file. Here again specify a name. You can give a email ID. Here I will add another email ID as ssg@gmail.com. Okay, then again give a date, select time, give a number, home page, and here you can choose the file. Also here you can choose a more than one files. So I will choose these two files, open, and you can see here two files has been chosen. Okay, so in this way you can use a multiple attribute. Now I can submit the data. See here, if I will click here, still it is getting submitted. So you can make any field required, so that form will not submit until that field is filled with some value. So if suppose the phone number is a required field, then you can specify within a phone number at the end. Here you can specify as a required, so that if you will not enter a value into it and you try to submit the data, then you will be given with an error message that please fill out this field. So this field is a required field. If you enter a value into it, then your form will be submitted to the server. So in this way we have learned how the input restrictions attribute work in a program. Okay, so try to write a program using all these attributes and give the appropriate validations for the input fields. Okay, thank you.